Dump them and lose the extra weight. I guarantee you'll feel better in no time. We had to hold hands and I fell head over heels in love with her.
What?
Well, his son would have that name forever. Yeah, you're the a-hole, and what should this guy's punishment be? Capital punishment, maybe? If someone, or a group of someone's, threw eggs at me, I'm gonna pick up the leftovers, and I'm gonna eat at you. And I don't know how he didn't realize how that would make her be like. So hello everyone, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I'm Jessica Laylah. So, in case you're new here and you're like, what's happening? What is this? Who are you? Every last Friday of the month, I like to post Am I the A-hole stories, and in case you don't know what Am I the A-hole is a subreddit on Reddit where people can go and post a story or a situation of something that happened and ask the timeless question, am I the a-hole? And from there, people will go, yes, no, maybe so, everybody sucks here, so on and so forth. My main go-to for the crazy toxic ones is this page on Instagram called Toxic Reddit. They are a page that curates some of the most toxic Reddit stories from across various subreddits, not just Am I the a-hole. So if you're into toxic stories, you should go give them a follow. I always link down to their stuff down below, as well as the Am I the a-hole subreddit, which I will also link down below. So yeah, everyone get comfortable, grab your hot drinks, grab your cookies, grab your turkey, settle in, and let's just dive right in with the first story. Am I the a-hole for throwing away my girlfriend's art supplies because she was spending too much time on her hobby? So I, 21 male, have been dating my girlfriend, 20 female, for about a year now. She's an art major, and honestly, she's talented. But lately, her art has been taking up a lot of her time. She's always painting, sketching, or doing some kind of project, even outside her classes. It's gotten to the point where she'll spend hours on her stuff and barely pay attention to me or make time to hang out. I tried talking to her a few times, telling her that I felt like she was spending more time with her art than with me, but she just brushed it off, saying it's important for her career, and that art makes her happy. She told me it's her way of unwinding, and sometimes she's even working on stuff she hopes to sell in the future. Anyway, after weeks of her ignoring me for her projects, I got fed up. Last weekend, while she was at work, I went over to her place and threw out most of her art supplies. Paints, sketch pads, brushes, all of it. I thought maybe if it was gone, she'd finally realize that she was putting too much energy into this hobby and would spend more time with me. When she came home and realized what I'd done, she freaked out. She was crying and yelling, asking why I'd do something so cruel. She even accused me of being controlling and selfish. I told her that I did it because I care about our relationship and felt like she was letting her art come between us. Now she won't talk to me and some of her friends are saying I'm a toxic boyfriend. I honestly thought she'd see that I did it because I want us to spend more quality time together, but now I'm questioning if maybe I went a bit too far. I tend to cut out commentary, but I think people want to hear more detailed commentary on why my convictions align the way they do, and I do think this guy is the a-hole in the story, and here's why. Them having relationship issues is one thing. From the context of what we read, her kind of disregarding the relationship and spending all her free time working on her art and not giving him the attention that he seems really desperate for, which is pretty normal in a relationship to want to spend time with the person you're dating. All of that, let's put that in a separate box. That's not the problem in the story. So here's the issue with the story that we encounter. So while she was at work, he went to her place, which means they don't live together, and threw out most of her art supplies. Paints, sketchpads, brushes, and then he says all of it. So I don't know if he threw out most or if he threw out all. That's besides the point. So clearly this took some planning. So he waited until his girlfriend was at work so that he could go into her place and throw out hundreds of dollars worth of art supplies. If you're an artist, you know art supplies are pretty expensive. And on the flip side, she is in art school, which means that these supplies are a necessary part of her school, I believe. I've never been to art school. The problem is not the relationship. The problem is not her ignoring him. The problem is that he felt it was okay to go to her place while she was at work, throw out everything, get rid of everything, and he doesn't seem to understand how that comes across as really toxic and controlling. we'll notice in the post that he said he attempted to talk to her about it and she just kind of brushed it off. And so that is kind of an issue. But his reaction to this does not, I don't think, is valid. The thing is, if you're in a relationship with someone and they just kind of start neglecting you, or things start to change and things don't get better no matter how many times you try and talk it out, rather than going over to their place and getting rid of something that is not only a necessity and expensive and something that they are clearly deeply attached to, maybe you should take a step back from the relationship and ask you, is this relationship giving me what I need? Because, you know, you kind of understand from the perspective of, like, I'm not getting attention from my partner that I feel like I need. That makes sense. I feel like everyone can empathize with that. But then comes in the issue of, so here's what I did about it, here was my solution, and it's an insane solution. And I don't know how he didn't realize how that would make her be like, if someone did that to me, immediately the relationship would end because you came into my place, you threw out stuff I need, and you disrespected me in a big way. And so that's my take on it, and that's why I think he's the a-hole in this story. It's not because he wanted her time, it's not because he wanted her attention, it's because the way he went about trying to get her attention was pretty toxic in my head. The final conviction for me is he is the a-hole in this story. I think that was pretty cruel, actually, to do to her. And, you know, as always with these stories, you're missing so much actual context. Who even knows if this is the true, or if this is made up? Anyways, on to the next one. Listen, I can't look at Reddit in dark mode. It hurts my eyes. Am I the a-hole for throwing an egg back in the face of a woman who threw eggs at me first? I, male 22, was walking home alone last night. Suddenly, a group of young women around my age appeared and started to throw eggs at me. What the hell is their problem? Didn't know them, never saw them before, and I have no idea why they did it. Luckily for me, two of them wasn't even close. I managed to move my body before the third egg hit me, and the fourth made a really bad throw. I somehow caught the fourth egg, and out of instinct, confusion, and most of all anger, I threw the egg as hard as I could back at her. Clean a shot, right in the face. I used to play baseball, so my throw was pretty hard. As soon as I hit her, they started to yell at me that I was a woman abuser and all sort of similar terrible stuff. I ran as fast as I could and got home. As soon as I calmed down, I felt really bad. I did act violent towards a woman. I couldn't even call it self-defense since they clearly didn't have any eggs left. So it was mostly just revenge, I guess. It all happened really fast, and I had no time to think. I just did it. A part of me feels that she 100% deserved it, but a part of me feels sick. Should I have acted different since I am a man and should never act violent towards a woman or anyone in general? What do you think? Let's take the gender out of it, okay? Let's just say some shapeless and void human being came up and threw eggs at you. Would you not have the idea to throw eggs back at them? The thing is, I'm a woman, right? If someone or a group of someone's threw eggs at me, I'm gonna pick up the leftovers and I'm gonna eat at you. Why the hell are you doing that to random people you don't know? Do I encourage acts of violence? No. We're not about that on this channel. But would I pick up an egg and haul it at the nearest person? Yes. Yes, I would. Can you imagine how bad it would actually hurt to get hit with an egg in the face or, like, head? 'Cause egg, what are those things called? An eggshell? I forgot the name of an egg. An eggshell is sharp. So I feel like that would hurt so bad. But the thing is, I feel like a lot of people on instinct would just do the same thing. It's great that this guy has a conscience. I think that's sweet and I think that's lovely, but if random people are gonna ambush you with eggs, they best be prepared for somebody attacking them right back. I don't know what they're thinking, and I don't know why they're doing that. Maybe they're drunk, but that doesn't give them a pass. So yeah, in this situation, I would say he's not the a-hole, and I think that most people would react the same way. I don't think this guy is the a-hole. I didn't think one. So this one is probably fake, but we're gonna read it anyway because yay, fun stuff. Am I the a-hole for leaving during my wife's labor? Yes. My wife went into labor around 6 p.m. on Sunday. We were expecting twins. Quickly turns into a very painful process. She kept cutting off the blood pressure to my hand when she squeezed and nearly sprayed my shirt with vomit. Around 3 a.m. my dad calls. I work for my dad's company and we had a presentation for clients Monday morning that I had to get ready for. My dad heard my wife was in labor, but he told me he needed me on this presentation. He said there was nothing I could do to help my wife in delivery, and seeing the baby come out was overrated, and people don't prepare you for the gore. Okay. He said he needed me to rest up and make myself presentable for the presentation. My wife's labor was progressing very slowly, and we were all certain she would need forceps or other assistance to deliver the babies. I realized that I couldn't help her here, and my dad was counting on me, so I told her I needed to leave. She started screaming at me so loudly that a few nurses rushed over to our room. I ended up doing the presentation with the clients, and things went well. I leave the office and see a text on my phone that said my wife delivered an hour ago at around 10:30 a.m., and they had to use forceps. I would have missed the meeting had I stayed, and my dad has given me everything he could possibly give me in life, so I didn't want to let him down. Am I the a-hole? I had responsibilities I had to take care of, and while my wife was still screaming at me saying that she was alone when they destroyed her body, I'm the only one who works, and her mom herself said that she was emotional and overreacting. My wife even went as far to say that her family would disown her if she was the first of them to divorce, but that she doesn't consider me her husband right now. The thing that makes me think the story might be fake is that this man just leaves when his wife is delivering his 2 children. And he's like, bye, I have to go present this meeting. And so she's mad at him. She's screaming at him, and then her mother said that she was being emotional and overreacting. I don't think that would happen no matter what's happening unless this woman's mother literally hates the guts of her daughter so much that she wishes her daughter was dead. There's no way that's real. Let's pretend for a minute this story is real, okay? So, we know where he gets his a-hole genes from. By his father saying that the baby coming out was overrated and people don't prepare you for the gore. Meaning, he didn't enjoy the birth of his own child! His son, the one presenting the meeting. And, it was a very painful process because she kept cutting off the blood pressure to his hand. And nearly sprayed his shirt with vomit is another thing that kind of clues me into that this might be fake. A-hole dad, a-hole father, a-hole grandfather, a-hole grandmother. It seems like everyone in the story is an a-hole except for the wife. And for that reason, I don't believe the story is real. I just have an incredibly hard time. There's something about the writing that comes across as so, like, artificial and fake. I just don't believe the story is real. But if it is, let's pretend it is, just for a moment in time. Yeah, you're the a-hole, and, what should this guy's punishment be? Capital punishment, maybe? Let's move on to the next one. Am I an a-hole for telling my boyfriend to block his ex for hurting me? No. I let my boyfriend talk to his ex because she babysat his little brother who is 5 now. I didn't mind it, but back in August I went through his accounts and he said he misses her. I was heartbroken. I got back onto him about it, and then he blocked him on all of his accounts, then we fought for hours, then later that night he forgot to block me on his Facebook. I look on there, and then I saw they were talking stuff behind my back and he was laughing. I was devastated and hurt, then we fixed it, and he blocked her. Then today I told him he can be friends with her again, but when he did, she talked about me again, so I told him I don't trust her. He said I was overreacting, and I let him, so do I have a right to be mad? This is very hard to read. No offense to the original poster. They probably don't speak English as their first language would be the kind of the thing that stands out to me. The punctuation was really hard to read on this. I'm not mocking them or judging them in any way. This person? Way too lenient. They sound pretty chill about this whole story. So back in August, he said he misses her. If I found out an ex was doing that, the relationship ends there. And then he's talking behind her back again. Clearly this dude is just not a good person, not someone you want to be around, not someone you want in your life. It sounds pretty painful of a thing to go through, and I don't think that giving him a second chance was the right thing here. 100% they have a right to be mad over this. I don't think this individual is overreacting at all. And at the end of the day, he's just talking to his ex and being horrible behind his current partner's back. They're 16 and 17, so they're very young. Anyone who does that behind your back, for anybody watching, they're not worth your time. Anyone who feels comfortable, trashing on you with an ex behind your back and is saying stuff like, "Oh, I miss you," to their ex, you don't need them in your life. Dump them and lose the extra weight. I guarantee you'll feel better in no time. And also, you don't need to be dating as a teenager. I said what I said, sue me. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to change my cat's name because my pregnant cousin wants to use his name? Recently, my sister got kittens, and I came up with names for them, and she actually took my suggestions, so I feel really cool. I, 22 female, found a stray kitten 3 years ago and named him Daniel. What a lovely name for a lovely little man. My cousin and her husband, both 25, are expecting baby boy in January. They want to use the name Daniel. My cousin texted me saying she and her husband love the name Daniel, and if I could change my cat's name. When I asked her why, she told me she doesn't want her son to share a name with the pet cat. I told her no! Because my cat had that name first, and that me changing his name would probably confuse him because there's studies proving that cats know their name. My cousin called me jerk. Her husband texted me on her phone saying to change the cat's name because he's just a regular stupid house cat, while his son would have that name forever. I told him the same thing. He called me an a-hole for not wanting to change my cat name. My mom called me this morning saying again! My mom called me this morning saying my cousin cried to her saying I'm being rude. My mom told me I should just change my cat name to just make everyone happy. No. I feel like I would just legitimately not care if someone was like, hey, so you named this cat this human's name, then I want to name my kid even though you did this years ago, so could you like change your cat's name? No! There can be more than one Daniel that exists in the world. In fact, I'm gonna bet there's quite a few Daniels out there. There might even be one watching right now. I think it's strange for them to be like, well, my human child is going to have this name forever, so therefore, change your cat's name. And this person seems to care for their cat in a deep, loving way. And so, I just find this whole story weird. Like, why do you care to the degree of wanting them to change the name of a cat? Like, do they see this cat a lot? What's the context? I'm confused. I, out of pure pettiness, would end up not changing the cat's name because, seriously, it's a cat. There can be cross-sectional sharing of names. I'm not sure why we're making this into a bigger issue than it actually is. Not the a-hole. Keep the cat's name. Tell them to get over it. It's just a name. I like to end the night with one last crazy one, so I'm gonna head over to TOXIC Reddit once more. Am I the a-hole for saying hello to my 8th grade crush when I saw her at the grocery store? I should say this is a throwaway account. When I was in 8th grade, we had to do this square dancing for PE, and I danced with this girl named Vanessa. I don't remember the dance, but we had to hold hands, and I fell head over heels in love with her.
What?
She was really out of my league, so I never had the courage to approach her, but I used to have vivid fantasies about dating her, marrying her, and having a life with her. She moved the first year in high school, so I thought I'd never see her again. I saw her at Safeway yesterday. She looked exactly the same, and I had to say hello. I asked her if she was Vanessa, and she said yes, and I said she probably doesn't remember me, but we went to high school together, and she said that she remembered dancing with me in PE. I was so stoked that I went into telling her how much I was in love with her, but too afraid to approach, and she always seemed so sweet, and she was still beautiful. I said that my silly schoolboy had dreams of marrying her and having kids, and I even had the names picked out. I asked her what she's doing now, and she's getting her master's in architecture, but it turns out the office she works out of us right now down the street from my work. What? What? She said she had to go when I asked for her number, and she gave it to me and said maybe we could catch up with the group of friends sometime. I was so stoked, and we said goodbye. About 10 minutes later, I thought of the name I wanted to name our kids because it was based on a book we were reading in ELA, Flowers for Algernon. I don't know what that is. So I FaceTimed her to tell her. She didn't answer, and I got this text. Hi, I'm sorry, but this whole encounter was really intense for me. I wish you well, but please don't contact me again. My cousin said that the text was as blunt as it could have been without using swear words. She said I was fine to say hello, I was weird when I told her about my daydreams, and I was a certified a-hole when I tried to FaceTime her 10 minutes later, and she doesn't even have words for what I'd be if I stopped by her office. I'd like to get a second opinion, am I the a-hole? So I'm kind of wondering if this individual is like autistic, or has maybe some kind of neurodivergency or something going on, because it seems that they don't understand how odd their actions might appear to your average individual. It's a very hard story to read because he did some square dancing, or they did some square dancing in 8th grade, and then this person started daydreaming from that moment forward about this girl. What they don't say in the story is how many years separated it has been. We have no idea how old this person is. They don't even lay out what gender they are, so I feel like maybe she was just really uncomfortable and didn't know how to turn him down. And a lot of people have an easier time over written stuff. I think that it's more easy to be assertive over text, and maybe she just didn't know how to do that in person. Because, I'm gonna be real, if someone I square danced with in 8th grade came up to me and was like, I'm so in love with you and I have been since that day in 8th grade, I would probably be like, whoa! I think the story is so uncomfortable no matter what angle you look at it from. And maybe to say that this individual is an a-hole comes across a little strongly, especially if this is someone somewhere on the spectrum. But I would say that their behavior is extremely inappropriate, kind of creepy, and comes across as maybe even a little bit predatory to someone you haven't seen since what year? We don't even know. I feel like, you know, you put yourself in the situation, and if someone came up to you and did that, would you be like, this is fine? Or would you be like, I'm not gonna make a conviction? That's just kind of my personal thoughts on the story, so what do you think? Yeah, so that was our last one of the night. That kind of scared me. So like I said, every last Friday of the month, we post these stories. In between, I like to post little regular Reddit stories from Toxic Reddit and from Reddit as well. If you want to give Toxic Reddit a follow, they will be posted down below. And if you don't want to end the night here and you're like, I want more a-hole, boy, do I have good news for you. Because I have a playlist filled with all my other Reddit stories. And that will be linked down below as well. So thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and hopefully I will see you all here next time.